Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Big Boy Card Collecting. As always, I'm your host, Andrew Davis, and we're doing something a little bit different today. And we're talking about tops now and foil parallels. So, before I get into it, I'm going to break down a little bit of tops now, and I'm going to pull up a web page from tops now because I think once you see it and we get into it, and this is real technical and it's interesting as far as collecting goes and value and understanding how things operate. And by the way, this stuff applies to things that are comic books and things that are numbered and ratioed out. So Tops Now is a product that captures the moments in a particular game, WWE, baseball, sometimes football, sometimes college, obviously college sports, volleyball, softball. They do tennis. They do Disney stuff. I think they have at some point done Star Wars, and they might get back to doing Star Wars at some point. So Tops Now captures all of that. And that's the concept of Tops Now. It's that it's either a 24-hour release, a 3-day release, a 2-day release, or until it sells out. So, for instance, the other day they released a card that was the penny because the last penny is being minted, this year. So they made a card of that, and they made a card of the Pope. So the reason why I bring all of this up is that Tops Now has a parallel component to it, and it's based on print runs. So Tops Now cards are print to order within the window. And so there's parallels. And typically the way it works, and I'm going to pull this up right now, and given that I am a John Cena fan, here we go. Right now, this card was released a few days ago. Obviously, it's no longer available, but there's 4,798 that are printed. Now, on this, as I pull it up, and we're going to explore here is the overview, is the open edition is the base, which is this card that is up front here. Then there are foiled numbered to 50 or lower. And there is a 101 auto. As soon as I can pull this up in 1 second, I just want to get to right here. So this 101 right here. So we have 50 golds, 25 oranges, 10 blacks, 5 reds, 1 foil refractor. And then we have a 101 auto redemption card. Excuse me. So what winds up happening is that so we have 92 parallel cards that could be pulled. And the way it works, and I've done the math, so obviously I'm going to go back to this for 1 second here. And so the math, and the reason why this is relevant and very important is that essentially what it looks like on a card level is that if there's two math equations because I don't have an exact science and Tops doesn't want to confirm it. But what you have to do is that you either take the 4,798 and you add 92 to that, which will bring you up to 4,980. And then you divide that by 92, and that equals 54.13, which means that on the print run, since there's 92 parallels, what will happen is that for every 54 cards printed or every 53 cards printed, one parallel is printed. And or conversely, the other number, if the 92 is not counted in there, is 4,798 divided by 92, and that's 52.152 on a base level. And then there's obviously, other numbers in there, but that's kind of where it goes. And so what that means is that for every 52 cards printed, one parallel is printed, inserted in it, or whatever it looks like. So Tops obviously is going to print all 92 parallels. And the way Tops works is that basically if you have X orders, so for every card that is inserted in an order, and in particular with this one is that you could order one card, you could order 5 cards in a pack, you could order 10 cards in a pack, or you could order 20 in a pack. And so for every 54 cards or 52 cards, what winds up happening is that one of those cards gets replaced, or the 55th card gets replaced with a parallel in one of those packs. And that's the concept, and why this is really important to understand from a collector's position and a reseller's position and an investing position is that obviously if you have a lower print run, you're going to have a higher chance to get a parallel. And if you have a really high print run, like 50,000 cards, you're going to have a lower ability to get a parallel. And so in this John Cena case, 4,798 or 4,980 cards is not a lot of cards, but your statistic to get a parallel is significantly, it's not bad. It's just that it's one out of every 54 cards, give or take, to get a parallel. And that's why these cards are valuable. And that's why you see on eBay some of these cards going for like 200, 300, $400. And that's what people are asking for, because this is his last major Tops Now run in many ways. But more importantly, they're super limited. So having, so like, this is the whole science behind it, is that it's ratioed out. Now, conversely, there's another card that came out of the Kabuki Warriors, and that print run was 1028. So if we take that position and it's 91 parallels, the basic number for that is it's 11.297. So if you order 20 cards, you are going to get a parallel in that particular order, because the print run is significantly lower, that everybody who orders that is going to get a print run, or a parallel, I should say. Whether you get a 50, a 25, a 10, a 5, or the 1, well, that's up for discussion here. But obviously, when you have lower print runs, you're going to get higher abilities to get parallels. In fact, with the Kabuki Warriors, it might very well be that a bunch of people ordered, a bunch of cards, and everybody ordered 20, and there might only be 50 orders. And the way that works with Tops is that if there's only 50 orders, they go around and around and around again until all the parallels are distributed. So I have been part of orders where there's only 400 cards printed, and as a result of that, and what wound up happening is that there was a bunch of orders. There's probably about 30 orders, and so they put a parallel on everybody's pack, then they put another one in everybody's pack, then they put a third one in everybody's pack, and then they put a fourth one in everybody's pack. And everybody was like, "Oh man, how did we get?" Excuse me, sorry about this. I'm a little sick. How did everybody get like 3 or 4 or 5 parallels? And that's how it got done. So that's the whole theory of parallels. So the lower the print run, the more probability and the higher chance you have of getting a parallel or multiple parallels in that. But obviously, I do not think the Kabuki Warriors, and nothing as Kari Sane or Asuka, are going to carry the same weight as John Cena is going to carry. And in particular, this IC belt and some other stuff. So in statistics and probability, if you ordered 100 cards, so 5 packs of 20 of John Cena's IC title that's on the screen right now, you would have a very high chance of getting at least one parallel. That doesn't mean you are going to get it, because it could very well be that your order is being packed, and that, because we don't know if everybody ordered 20, if everybody ordered 1, if it's a combination of 5, 10, whatever, but we don't know that. But the more cards you order based on these numbers with John Cena, which is 54 and 52, if you order 200 cards, you are at a much higher probability on a card count level to get a parallel. Versus if you order 10, you are at a lower position, and it's still possible and probable, but you have, obviously, if you ordered 54 cards, statistically, you are right at the mark where you should be getting a parallel. So anything above, 3 packs of these cards, you should be ideally getting a parallel. Whether you get it or you don't, that's up for discussion. But that's the concept, and that's the math on these. And so the way I calculate the math is that I do it in 2 formulas that gives me an idea. It's either, the print run plus the parallels divided by the number of parallels, or it's the base print run divided by the number of parallels. And those numbers in the John Cena case are, it's 2 points. And so the margin of error is less than like 2% on those. So it's really irrelevant, the math on those. But when you get to cards where you have 50, 60, 70,000, again, the margin of error is very limited on those as well. So that's the concept. This is what we're talking about. And I just find it fascinating because, again, this is very technical to understand how parallels work with Tops Now. And you don't know the print run until you you buy the card is sold out, and then they release the print run before you get it. So statistically, I ordered two of these. So I have 40, and the number that I need is 54. So there's a 14%, whatever that math is, that would not guarantee me a parallel or a probability. But it could very well be that I get two parallels in my order and separate orders, or it could be that I get none, or I could get the one-on-one auto. So that's the whole concept with this, is that because you don't know who ordered what, you know what orders. Tops is very secretive about how they do all this. But if you ordered 500 of these cards, you are getting a parallel at the bare minimum. You are probably getting at least three or four, because the probability of you not getting a parallel, if you ordered 500 at a 54 base point position, or a card level, or a printed ratio level, whatever we're going to call it here, that would be that. So that's the concept of this whole thing. And it's really interesting because on a collector level, obviously I want parallels because I'm a collector. I resell cards and I do both. And my resale fuels my continuation of me being able to buy cards. So when a parallel is rare to get, and there's 90,000 cards printed, and I have a limited five on that, that obviously parallel has a much higher value than if there's 200 of the cards and everybody got what they wanted and everybody got 10 parallels. Nothing wrong. It was that those cards are good too, but they're not the same and they don't have the same weight because the parallel is not as rare per se. Now, granted, there's money to be made in all parallels because a parallel obviously is worth more than a base. So a gold of this card is going to be a $150 card to a $250 card minimum very easily. My Dominic Mysterio is a $200 card. My Tiffany Stratton Limited 25 is a $200 card. My John Cena, I have a Tiffany Stratton Limited 5. I mean, I don't know what that's worth, but ideally, if I'm to sell it, I'm looking at $350 for it because there's only 5 of them in the world. I have this right here, which is my Stephanie Vauquer auto that was redeemed. And again, that card, I don't know what it's worth, but it's a limited 5 auto. Very rare card because super rare against I think there was like 4,000 of them printed on a base level, and you just go down the run with it. Very similar to this card, a little bit higher probability, but not by much. So it's very interesting in that regard on how to deal with all of this and everything else in that regard. So that's the concept here with this, and that's the philosophy and all that stuff surrounding it. So yes, that's kind of the whole theory with it, and it's all ratio based. So again, basically you take the print run, you either divide it by the parallel number, or you take the print run, add the parallels, and divide it by that, and then it gives you an idea of where these are randomly inserted in to packs. But again, we don't know if it's just every 54 cards and they just run it down the number that way and they go person A ordered first, or that it's just randomly done, or if it's the orders are all mixed up and figured out from there. We don't know exactly, and we don't know exactly if somebody ordered, if the person who gets a parallel ordered 5 cards or if they ordered 20, right? We don't know. And that's the thing right there that's complicated, because somebody could be ordering one of these cards, they could be ordering 5, they could be ordering 10, they could be ordering 20. And then also we don't know is that the person A ordered 20 here, 20 an hour, 20 later, 20 there, and they ordered 200 or 10 orders of in separate batches of 20s to get what they wanted. We don't know the whole breakdown of the order chart, which if we did know that, we could actually more accurately predict it. And we don't know how Topps distributes this. And we don't know if Topps, has their favorite clients either. And I am not making any assumptions here or any claims, but we don't know exactly how this is broken down per se. And so that's very, very important to understand that in this regard. But what we do know is that on a probability statistical level, that's where this goes, is that If you ordered 100 cards of these, you are statistically more likely to get a parallel than not. If you ordered 60, you have a better chance. If you ordered 20, you have a better chance than if you ordered 10. If you ordered one, you have a much lower chance than if you ordered 5, 10, 20, 40, 60. If you ordered 300 of these cards, you're getting a parallel. And if you don't get a parallel, something is fundamentally wrong in this circumstance. So having said all that, that's the basic concept. I think this is a great example. I just use John Cena because it's relevant. I'm a wrestling fan, but this, by the way, applies to everything. It doesn't matter if it's 4,798 cards or if it's 47,900 cards. It doesn't matter because the same rules apply to how this is broken down and parallels. The difference is that if there's 91 parallels or 92 parallels or 100 parallels and you have 47,000 cards, obviously those statistics and that number is not going to be 54. It's going to be much bigger, much bigger. It's going to be more like 2 to 3, 4, 500 per that randomly inserted. So having said all that, though, obviously, hopefully this helps you. Obviously, I just wanted to share this because I've been living this for the last 3 or 4 years in Topps now, and I know it pretty well. And yeah, so obviously, when I get my cards, we're going to be breaking them open. We're going to see what we get here, all that stuff. I'm going to be getting a lot of cool stuff coming in. And we're probably going to do a WWE break night type thing with some Chelsea Greens, some John Cena's, some more John Cena's, and some other stuff, and everything else in between. So that's the whole thing right there. If you are looking for this card, I do have it in my eBay store. I am selling it for about $7-8. So free shipping. So obviously you're going to save some money on that. You're not going to be paying the $12. It is a base card because I don't know if I'm getting a parallel. And I don't know if I'm getting multiple parallels because I can't promise something I do not know if I'm going to get. But obviously, if you're just looking for the base card, $8, $7-8 for you, no problem. Look at my eBay store. Some other stuff's in my eBay store. If you're looking for other cards, I got you covered there too. More than happy to help everybody get what they want and everything in between. And I sell everything from $4 cards all the way up to $1,500. And I do want to remind everybody, and I know it's a little bit away, but November, this Saturday, I believe, is Small Business Saturday. So definitely be on the lookout. And descriptions down below to my eBay store. So if you'd like to support small business, I am a perfect candidate for supporting small business. And this is my eBay store right here. Look for Comics and Collectibles. Come shop with us on Pop Anime Comics Collectibles on eBay. So I do sell a lot of cards and comics, and definitely support a small business. So thank you so much for watching, everybody. Hopefully you found this helpful, and hopefully I will see you in my next video talking about cards, talking about other stuff, and we're going to be doing a lot more of the education stuff in the next few months as we gear up again for March World Baseball Classic and things of that nature. So hopefully you find this stuff really interesting because I find it interesting, and I just love sharing my knowledge. And I think it's a shame if somebody dies with knowledge still left in their brain. And I don't want to be in that circumstance. And I want to help people. And hopefully you find that this is helpful as much as I enjoy talking about it. So until next time, everybody, have a good one. Enjoy your Wednesday. Enjoy tomorrow night, Thursday Night Football. And if I don't see you, have a happy Thanksgiving. I know it's a little premature. We're about a week away. But have a happy Thanksgiving if I don't make another video. And I'll see you on the other side, everybody, and go rip and open some packs and everything. So thanks so much for watching, everybody. Have a good one.